Yeah, welcome back to the podcast. Welcome back to the show. Welcome back to the Kevin Wright Show. We've been doing some podcasts on talent and how to make it with your talent, how to make it as a professional with your art. How can you get paid for your art? What do you have to do? How bad do you have to want it? And we've been interviewing people and discussing some of the things that we're finding out. On today's podcast, we're talking about making it as an artist, getting paid for your talent. But one of the most important things in that I'm finding out from all these interviews, I'm finding out from talking with artists who have made it, who are selling their art, who are getting compensation for their talent. One of the things they talk about is you can't just hope to sell your art. You can't just hope to sell your music. You can't just hope to make a product for the public and be satisfied with that. There's another aspect of being a professional artist and making a living off of your talents, and that's being able to feed yourself with your art. Feed yourself with your skills and talent. So most of the time you think about being an artist, being a celebrity, being famous for your talents, you think about the public's consumption. How's the public going to take your product? You know, imagine you're a filmmaker. How did the public respond to my movie? Did it make them feel something? Was it well done? Was the technique there? Did I get the performances out of the people I needed? Was my filmmaking and my cinematography crisp and clear for the public? But what I'm learning as I'm interviewing artists is that you have to do it for yourself. You have to do the hobby, the art, the job. You have to be in that focus for yourself. Two words that are coming up is feed yourself with the process of making your art and feed yourself with the product of your art. We're not talking about feed yourself, get groceries on the table. I'm talking about feeding your soul. Is the process of how you write your songs, is the process of how you put together sculptures, is the process of how you do your painting. Is it nourishing to you? Is it therapy for you? Is it healthy for you? Is it feeding you while you're in the process of making your art? And then also, do you enjoy the product? Do you enjoy the final product? Are you enjoying the process and are you enjoying the product? It's something that doesn't get talked about a lot. And I think it's so fascinating. Because there's a lot of people who are spitting out content. There's a lot of people who are putting out product and they don't even like it. They don't even like what they're doing. They're hypercritical of what they're doing. Or they feel like the process of what they're doing is torturous and there's no enjoyment in it. And that's not to say that working on your art, on your craft, let's go back to that filmmaker example. It's not to say that there's going to be days where you fucking hate it, because there will be. But overall, the bigger percentage of time, 80%, 90% of the time, you just love it. And you can't see yourself doing anything different. On the last podcast, we talked about loving your craft and your art so much that you feel like you would rather die than not attain the goal of doing your passion full time. Do you enjoy the process and do you enjoy the product? Or are you just doing it for other people? Or are you just trying to get lucky? Trying to win the lottery and get paid off. Have that kind of once in a million discovery where someone says, okay, I'm going to give you this, big check for your talent, for your performance. What's more important is that you're enjoying the whole process. Let's talk about the process for a second. Today, I was actually building a sculpture. I've been getting into sculpting with wood, with natural edge wood. And I loved every minute of it. I love the creativity of it. I love the challenge. I love working with something natural that has different curves and lines and shapes. And I have to be molded to its shapes. I love thinking around the corners and I love figuring out how to make something beautiful from nature that somebody could bring into their home and get that sense of nature. And feel that sense of the wild in their place. So I had this awesome experience. I cut my hand a couple times, stubbed my toes a couple times. It wasn't a perfect experience, but I enjoyed it. I came home at the end of the day and felt like I had worked hard. I stressed my body. I stressed my mind to the point where it felt really good. My muscles were flexed. The process of me building this sculpture, this wood sculpture, was enjoyable. Doesn't mean it was easy, but it was enjoyable. So as I'm trying to produce an art product, as I'm trying to produce this sculpture, I loved the process. I was feeding my soul. I was enjoying my day. I was enjoying the work. And that's a very rare thing, I think, that we don't discuss enough, enjoyment at work, or better yet, enjoyment in your product building, enjoyment in putting out your content, enjoying the process. So is the process of what you're doing, the discipline, your day-to-day, your focus on your art and your craft, is the process feeding your soul? Or is it a drag? Ask yourself that. If it is so tiresome and so depressing and hurtful to your soul, you're probably in the wrong thing. Most real artists aren't making a product, aren't finishing their masterpiece, aren't working on their talent and craft because they just want praise from people. There are people who are like that. I'm putting together this film and I want to get praise from people. Most true artists do art because they have to. They understand that they are a channel. They understand that they have this conduit. Somebody gave them grace and mercy from the universe to be able to do art, and they understand that they have to do it. Or they might go insane. They might be unhealthy. If they're not experiencing the process of doing art on a regular basis, they might start hurting. Most artists get that. I have to do this. I have to be a part of this. I have to be involved in the process of my art and my craft, my filmmaking, my songwriting, my painting, my coaching, my acting, my directing. I've got to be a part of this. Most artists get that. But there are some struggling and toiling artists who their focus and their goal is for the audience, and they're miserable. So we talked about the process. Are you able to enjoy the process of performing and building your art? Are you able to do that and feed your soul? If so, you're going to be much better off. Now, here's an even less talked about topic. Not just the process, not just the therapeutic hard work that you put into your art. Let's say you're a YouTube content creator and you have a YouTube channel and you're putting out videos, and you might really enjoy making vlogs and blogs, and you might really enjoy doing unboxings or whatever it is you focus on. And you enjoy the process and kind of letting your mind be busy, overcoming challenges, engineering and writing scripts. But then, do you also enjoy the final product? Take that idea for a second. Imagine an artist who hates their final project. Imagine an artist who hates their final product. Imagine an artist who looks at their painting and says, I fucking hate this. Why am I doing this? And yet is putting their nose back to the grindstone over and over again and going through this torturous, vicious cycle. Not only should you enjoy the process of building your art, but you should enjoy the final product. One of the things I love to work on is podcasts. I love to think about them, write scripts for them, help other people get into podcasting. I want to record podcasts that I want to go back to and listen to again. I want to make movies and films that I want to watch over and over again. I want to make art that's fun. I want to make recordings that I want to look at. If you can't stand the final product of your art, there's something wrong. If you don't like the final product, there's something wrong. We have to ask ourselves that question. Not only is the process of building art feeding our souls, but does the final product feed our soul? Are you getting a sense of satisfaction when you finish? Let's talk about music for a second. Finish writing a song. Not only the experience and the human emotion and the poetry that goes into writing a song, that's good for you. You worked out some therapy. But when that song was done, did you like listening to it? Did you enjoy it? Do you get that it's good? Do you see the talent in it? Artists won't make it for long. You won't make it for long if you're trying to full-time devote your life to your craft and you don't like the final product. If you're just doing it to try to someday score a paycheck, you won't last long. A better way to look at performing your craft full-time is, I have to do this because it's in my soul. I have this gift, I have this talent, I have to spend time doing it. I like the process of working towards it, and I love the final product. And when you're in that world and when you're in that mindset, if you get paid, that's icing on the cake. If the public says we value what you're doing so much that we want to put money towards it, that's icing on the cake. But I think step one is figuring out, do you like the process and do you like the final product? Do you enjoy it? Is it good for you? Is it helping you? Is it making you a better person? If you are an artist and your work is constantly pushing you toward addiction issues, maybe alcoholism, it's causing you to drown your sorrows on a regular basis, something needs to be done. Does the process of your art feed you? Does the final product of your art feed you? Because we all like it when the public acknowledges our talent. We all like it when the public acknowledges, that you did something beautiful, that you made something special and beautiful and one of a kind, and you used your skills and talents. We love that. We love it. But that's kind of like the secondary step. The first step is, I do this for me, and then we'll see what happens. I'm going on this journey for me. I'm figuring out my shit. I'm figuring out my life. I'm figuring out what my talents are, and I'm doing it for me. And if other people get on board, that's incredible as well. So we're in this podcast series about trying to make it as an artist, trying to get paid as a person who wants their talents to be on display. Getting paid for your talents. Are you in love with the process of building your art? And are you in love with the final product? These are good things to think about and discuss. I'd love to hear your feedback. Check us out, thekevinwrightshow.com. We got lots of podcasts up. You can check us out on Instagram as well. And have a good night.